Welcome. My name is Fredrik Carlegren, Vice President of Marketing. I am excited to be here at Toshiba's Purpose Plaza with Intel. Alec Gefrides, VP of Network and Edge Solutions Group at Intel. Alec, welcome.
Hey, Fredrik, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So, we're here. We're obviously on Zoom. We're not in New York. That would have been nice, but we're excited to be here with you regardless. Obviously, we're taking a fully hybrid approach to this event, and that doesn't change the fact that we can have a really meaningful conversation together. NRF is a launching point any given year in terms of what's happening in the industry, where things are going. So I wondered, just to start, what's the perspective that you have from Intel around 2022 and how retail is unfolding?
Well, absolutely. And I think we all know, the last 2 years, pandemic has influenced a lot. The stores have been investing in store safety, adding some new capabilities. But the trends right now is getting back in the stores, what we see for 2022. We've been doing some research in that space, and it looks like we're going to have some uptick from what the past 2 years are, and investment more in the retail experiences in the store. The self-checkout has been a boom through this pandemic. You've seen it with kiosk, you've seen it with grocery. Just almost every store you go to, you check yourself out, and that's not slowing down.
Yeah, good points on that, Alec. I think we've seen too in our research this real shift towards digitalization from the consumer's expectation point of view. So really, we just reference those as digital shifters, and most of those consumers that have made that shift and expect greater convenience, new ways to shop and engage with brands, are planning to stay, in that mode of engagement. We just finished a little bit of research that with some U.S. consumers, and 35% of those really talked about this need of, their willingness to shift loyalty even to merchants based on those digital capabilities and how shopping is made easier, more convenient. So, I wonder, your take. You just mentioned you're doing some consumer research as well. What are some of the key things that you found that consumers are saying they are expecting in the year ahead?
Absolutely. I think we all, since we aren't traveling, we're using our budget on doing some research or so. We just commissioned IHL, and the results of that study we found so interesting, we're going to actually publish them. So here at NRF, we'll have links if you're from the IHL site to be able to get these results. But to give you guys a little bit of insight before, the first thing is you would expect digitization or purchasing online is reached worldwide at about a 50-50 level. A little bit not surprising, the fact U.S. is a little bit heavier. We're about 60% still going in the store, 40% digitization or online. And that online includes pickup in store. So that means that you actually order online, but pick up and that curb delivery. So we've seen some really big pickup in that. I didn't expect about 20%, and this is something about worldwide for essentials and clothing, that people are picking those things up at the curb. And that takes a lot of coordination. We're seeing the onset of what we call on-site fulfillment, micro fulfillment centers in the stores. They're restructuring their store where they can actually make sure they have inventory when people order. And it's almost being set up as its own little P&L and its own little business within their local stores.
Yeah, I think that is a really significant change. And one of the things that obviously comes to play as technology vendors is how we help retailers become more adaptable, right? And adapt to change and be more nimble and agile in their response, right? And that's our whole theme and discussion from a Toshiba standpoint at NRF, and this year is acceleration with purpose. And a lot of that purpose just comes from the consumers and how you meet the needs that they have. So that's really fascinating. So in that research, you said that was a global research, and actually you told me, I think you said that's coming out tomorrow officially. So we're getting a little bit of a sneak peek at that today.
Absolutely. This is stuff that we felt was important to get out. Not surprising, Asia is already at 60% online and only 40% in store. Latin America is following that too. Europe and US are a bit more still going in the store. But it's really balanced. Other things that we're seeing is the pain points for consumers. Part of the study we talk about that what is the pain points when you're going in store versus the pain points when you're ordering online. You can probably guess a few of these. In store, it's, do they have what you need, the right size or what you're looking for? The pain points, though, on ordering online is the returns. How do you want to go about returning? And one of the other trends that came out of this is this pickup and willing to pay a fee. I think we all have, if we don't have the loyalty programs, or like with a Prime or a Walmart where you get free delivery, you're okay paying for delivery. And then if you hit a certain threshold, you get free delivery, how much you spend. But there's also a trend with people paying for pickup. And the reason they're willing to do that, and what came out, is that they want to make sure they don't want to deal with the returns. And so they want to be able to pick up, try on, make sure it's held for them when they get there, try it on, and then make the decision. Because today people order 3 sizes. They order one shirt and they'll get it in 3 sizes, pick the one that fits best, and then have to ship back 2. And that's not fun for the retailer. He's got his inventory out that he can't sell. And, for the consumer, he's now got to deal with a return.
Yeah.
So we're seeing some interesting data here.
Yeah, the returns piece is obviously fascinating, and now with a lot of retailers looking at that no ship return, right? Just essentially refund, but the cost of that for retailers as well, and how do you really manage that return and the unified return across channels? And that's certainly, I'm sure, conversations that both of us are having with clients to figure that out and try to get some resolution to those pain points as you suggested. You touched on real-time inventory, right? That's That is such an important topic to really address in all these different use cases. Now, you mentioned pain points. What about winners? What are the winners in the retail space doing according to your research?
Yeah, that's another area that we're highlighting in the research is the winners, and this is the retailers that are profitable, doing well. They're not opening new stores. They're actually investing in technology, and they're investing in the technologies that we've talked about, self-checkout, kiosks. They're investing in that fulfillment, making sure they have inventory, that the compute, make sure just getting that to the curb in an efficient manner. That all takes coordination from order and then on-site processing. It's the order's ready, getting it to the curb at the right person showing up, cameras on the curbs to recognize that the car's in the parking lot. So investing in technology is how they're winning. It's not opening new stores.
Yeah, fascinating. One of the things that we're talking about here at the show is our new announcements around our Alera commerce platform. And some of the key things that we're hearing that retailers get excited about when we have conversations about what that platform enables is a relentless experimentation and then iteration and being able to scale once you really know which direction you're going in. But that notion of relentless experimentation and being able to move quickly, you're not necessarily going to figure out what the right answer is on your first try, but how do you do that in an effective manner? I don't know if you're hearing the same from some of your
Absolutely.
clients.
The fail fast mentality is something that is very important. It's very expensive to deploy to 900 to 3,000 to depending on what size retail you are stores. So you want to get out there in 1 or 2 of your pilot or test bed stores and see what works and what doesn't work. So that's something that absolutely we're seeing that same trend to fail fast and understand what the consumer values. And I think that's something we all, we think it's cool technology. Intel, we get into this computer vision and what's possible.
Yep.
But we've got to bring that consumer value. And the only way you really get that is validation through test.
That's true for sure, which is a good segue. One of the announcements and things we'll be talking about from an Alera standpoint and IoT platforms is what we're doing around produce recognition. And we're working with you on our TCX Edge cameras and that portfolio to really take that edge computing and computer vision out into use cases that retailers can really utilize to your point of solving real world problems. And even something like produce recognition at self-checkout, tie it back to one of your earlier points, taking consumer time to shop, per item, reducing that by 50%. You're addressing things like inventory because you're getting the right products, and the system is verifying that the self-service checkout systems has the accurate inventory that was purchased, which impacts obviously the rest of your in-store inventory, loss prevention and shrink impacts, and the positive what produce recognition can do to solve that. So real-world use cases for computer vision. What are you seeing in that space? There's so much going on. There's obviously a lot of talk about AI and computer vision. What's Intel's point of view on that?
So absolutely, we're super focused. I mean, things that take a lot of compute is our specialty, and adding cameras or vision to a computer, giving it sight and what you can do with that is compute intensive. So we're spending a lot of time, money, and engineering to build out. So there's two angles on that. There's one, getting those video streams and managing how many video streams are coming in to the platform, and what you're going to do with that data, doing the analytics. And this isn't a case where you can send this all up to the cloud. You might train your devices in the cloud, but really and truly, you need to make these decisions right then and there. Loss prevention, theft is not going to wait for the cloud and latency coming back. You got to put that locally and make sure that you're able to recognize theft when it's occurring. But there's a lot of places in retail where there's accidental things. You don't realize, and I mean you and I do from working in this space, but the amount of loss of water or Cokes on the bottom of the basket going out the door, there's a huge amount of loss. Just adding a simple camera to recognize, is there something under the basket or not? Did they forget to scan that, especially on the self-checkout? You're trying to get through, you got people behind you. So also friction, of getting running a self-checkout, trying to find where's the apples on the, the way, and picking the right apple or picking the right pepper. At computer vision can at least get that down. We're even able to tell the difference between grains of rice. In Asia, we have some things going where they can put a bag of rice up there, see through the clear plastic, and recognize the different types of kernels so that the appropriate one gets selected. Same types of things are happening here. And you can narrow the field so that the people can pick quicker, like, okay, this is an apple, we're obvious, and you can get the 4 apples that are there. Or you can actually have the computer vision pick the apple, and that's just going to speed up that process of getting through there.
Exactly, and that's so. It's obviously really exciting to be able to partner with Intel on those technologies that bring those use cases to life. There's a lot more to dig into there, and your point around edge computing. Obviously, we're announcing our edge cameras. That is exactly the approach that we take. So we share that point of view, and I think that's what makes it really exciting to kind of bring that to market and continue to have those conversations. The other point that you I think started to reference there as well is it's just the beginning of these other use cases that computer vision can help resolve. It is, as we've talked about for the last couple of years, I think both of us, this path towards ultimately a much more frictionless in-store experience that may start at self-checkout, front end, different parts of the store, but really ultimately gets to things that understand consumer behavior, in-store real-time inventory in the future, I think is really promising.
Absolutely, and working with you guys has been great. You guys get close with the end retailers and understand what their problems are, and we try to bring some technology to help. So great partnership to bring some of these experiences to market. So thank you for that close collaboration on that.
Yeah. So Alec, appreciate your time today. And before we wrap up, I just want to see any final words you have for the audience here today and those who may listen on demand. Any final thoughts from your perspective?
Hey, these experiences, these types of webinars or short talks, this is where we've been the last 2 years. And you've noticed some of the changes in the stores, but I think it's time this next year, 2022, to get back out there and really see what other new experiences we can bring and where you'll see technology as the consumer and your audience. I look forward to seeing what the next trends come. we'll be a little on top of that. But I think it's getting back out in 2022 and starting to experience the world that we've been missing. So
Yeah.
looking forward to next year being face to face when we do this at NRF. So thanks for having me, and those are
Yeah.
my final thoughts.
Well, thank you, Alec, and thank you to Intel. Thanks for joining us today. Yes, I definitely look forward to seeing you again in person real soon. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this talk today. Please go visit us at acceleratewithpurpose.com. Have a great day.